Welcome to Soundwaves, Carnival Corporation's podcast for shipboard and shoreside. Hi, everybody. I'm Arnold Donald, President and CEO of Carnival Corporation, with a special video version this time of Soundwaves. As you know, we are currently in an extended pause in the operation of our ships, and we are completing the repatriation of our crew to their home countries. I just can't believe it's been just 120 days since we voluntarily paused operations across our global fleet. In that relatively short time, we've returned roughly 260,000 guests home, and we've repatriated over 80,000 crew members to over 130 different countries. We've processed billions of dollars of refunds and billions of dollars of future cruise credits. We've moved 65 ships into a prolonged pause, with the remainder expected to be in a similar position within the month. We signed agreements for the disposition of 9 vessels while negotiating the delay in delivery of 16 ships. And we secured over $10 billion in capital while extending debt maturities and securing covenant waivers with over 20 different banks and over 40 different agreements. Now, we've engaged with medical experts and scientists around the world to inform our development of return to cruise protocols. And we are now preparing for what could be the imminent return to cruising throughout Europe. So, we've come full circle, from entering a voluntary pause to planning a staggered resumption. I could not be more proud of how collectively our team has handled all of this. We've looked after our guests. We've looked after each other and the 700 places we go to each year. We've honored what we stand for as a company, and we are well positioned for our existing shareholders to still experience attractive returns over time. We will emerge a leaner, more efficient company. So thanks to each and every one of you. Still, I know that the question on everyone's mind right now, when will we all be sailing again? Right now, the answer is, I still don't know. The ups and downs and twists and turns the situation has taken over the past 4 months have been so unpredictable that even attempting to announce a date at this point would be foolhardy. The signs are looking a little more positive recently, especially in Asia and Europe, as countries there are opening up and life is returning closer to normal. Travel between some countries has started again. Restaurants have opened in some places. Hotels are welcoming guests. Planes are flying. And social gathering has started to return on a limited basis. Unfortunately, the U.S., one of our largest markets, is finding it harder to contain the virus and flatten the curve. So that's a real headwind in the North American market. We're seeing much improved treatment protocols for people who do get sick, though, and an increased awareness and acceptance of the simple steps necessary: mask wearing, hand washing, social distancing, to help mitigate the spread of the virus. Testing has improved, is far more prevalent, and early reports on vaccine trials have been encouraging. So, while the return to normal may be slower than we expected or wanted, it is slowly happening in most of the world, and that's a positive sign that cruising can return too. In fact, our AIDA line, based in Germany, will be our first brand out of the starting gate, with cruises starting at the beginning of August. And this is great news, and great news for all of us. AIDA's first cruises will be short, just 3 or 4 nights on 3 of their ships, and initially they won't have any port calls. But I'd like to thank the AIDA team for their dedication to getting us back in business. We'll all be watching to learn from your example. Congratulations, AIDA. In North America, however, CLIA, representing the cruise industry, recently announced our members had agreed to a voluntary pause in U.S. operations until September 15, 2020. Now, for us, that includes Seabourn, Holland America, Princess Cruises, and, of course, Carnival Cruise Line. Right now, all of our ships are in a warm layup, with a small crew of essential people on board to ensure that the ships are safe, that we're compliant, and that the ships are well maintained to take care of the crew on board with limited galley and housekeeping staff. But our ships are still operating, and so remember, our highest responsibility and therefore our top priorities remain compliance, environmental protection, and the health, safety, and well-being of the people and the places we touch, the guests when we have them back on board, and importantly, our Carnival family, our team members, shipboard and shoreside, all of you. We only have a few thousand crew left on our ships, either waiting to be repatriated or doing the minimum manning to keep the ships ready for when we return. And we hope to have all of those that are being repatriated home safely soon. We've managed to, as I mentioned, repatriate about 80,000 so far over the past 3 months or so, which has been an enormous effort, a daunting task. So I would like to recognize all who worked so hard to make that happen and overcome the fact that borders were closed, airlines were not flying. At times we couldn't even get charters, and we've used 50 of our ships to move so many of our people home and sailed over 400,000 nautical miles to do it. Now, in the past 2 months, we've made some major changes also to our shoreside operations in order to preserve needed cash and to weather this extended pause. As you know, we reduced the size of our shoreside operations significantly through layoffs and furloughs. And we've continued to strengthen our liquidity position, and we continue to look at ways to further reduce spending through this time of no revenue. So a heartfelt thanks as well to our finance and legal teams who put in tremendous effort to deliver the financing we needed to manage through this time and give us a runway to withstand the pause, even for the next 12 months if we have zero revenue. Now, there have also been some leadership changes. Our Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Cunard North America, Josh Leibowitz, will be taking the reins at our ultra-luxury brand Seabourn in his new role as President of Seabourn. And Gus Antarcha will be the new President of Holland America. Gus will be moving from Carnival Cruise Line, where he was Chief Operations Officer. So while Josh and Gus will be leaving Miami for the West Coast, one of our other senior officers, Neil Palumba, will be moving across the Atlantic. Neil will be leaving Costa and taking Gus's place as COO of Carnival Cruise Line in Miami. Now, all of these individuals have been leaders within our company for many years, and we are fortunate that we have the bench strength to be able to make these moves. We have another key personnel change. Josh Weinstein is our new Chief Operations Officer for Carnival Corporation, reporting directly to me. Josh has overseen a number of corporate functions and will continue to oversee Carnival UK. He has been with Carnival Corporation for almost 2 decades, working in finance and legal here in Miami, and most recently running Carnival UK in Southampton. Now, Simon Palenthorpe takes over part of Josh's responsibility as the new President of Carnival UK, while continuing his leadership role with Cunard. Moving forward, we want to build on the strengths that have made this company into a federation of brands that our guests love and that are recognized the world over for quality, consumer confidence, and integrity. In a federation, each member is there to make each other stronger, and collectively the whole is much greater than the sum of the parts. Now, we're getting even stronger as a leadership team in communicating, collaborating, and coordinating, as is evidenced through this pause, and I fully expect this to get even better once we restart operations. We've also taken the opportunity to examine our existing fleet. Now, we continue to look at capacity needs, and with the realities of the current situation, the current environment, we decided to sell or retire 13 of our ships throughout the various brands. All the changes I'm discussing today are to improve our ability to restart operations successfully in the months ahead. Now, at the end of this month, on July 28th, together with the World Travel and Tourism Council, we're producing a 1-day virtual Global Scientific Summit on COVID-19. We're bringing together science-based and medical experts to discuss the epidemiology of the virus, its transmission, screening and testing, therapeutics, and the practical risk mitigation. Basically, how do we live and work with COVID-19 in society in the future? Now, you can sign up to attend this virtual summit at www.covidsciencesummit.com. That's www.covidsciencesummit.com. Now, we've been in constant contact with a number of health and medical experts around the globe during this pause as we consider how best to restart cruising. We're encouraged by other industry efforts to do the same, and we plan to share what we've learned to effect the best outcome and approach for our industry. We are all in this together. Remember, you can sign up to attend our virtual conference. I encourage you to do so. And I'll be sharing the findings from this conference in a future podcast. Look, this is certainly not the summer of 2020 that any of us expected for ourselves or for our company. But the only way through these challenging times is by moving forward. Now more than ever, we need your best work, your best ideas, and your dedication to our collective future. I'm so glad you're with us, and I can't thank you enough for the tremendous work you've done on these challenging events over the past few months. Okay, everybody, this has been Soundwaves. As always, please email us any suggestions for people to interview and stories to cover at podcast@carnival.com. Thanks for listening. Be safe. Keep smiling.